Welcome to WOWL. We are live today with M4.
Hello, hello.
And then we also have hate mail that will be in and out.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And then today we have a special guest, Boomstam.
Our first choice, mind you.
Hello.
So this is our first under the WOWL umbrella, first interview. So I feel special for you, Boomstam. So hopefully you feel special from that.
Yes, I do.
So today we have a few topics we're gonna talk about, but really the main premise of our podcast today is getting to know you a little bit. So I'm gonna ask a few questions, and M4 and Hate may also ask a few questions, and then we're gonna go to my favorite part, which is gonna be rapid firing random questions at you, just to kind of throw you off and kind of hear some of your answers.
Okay, great.
Cool. So first question: tell us a little bit about your secret identity, kind of what you do when you're not playing DCL, how you got into DCL and all that.
Well, it's a bit of a long story. If you want to know how I got into DCL, I kind of got to tell you how I got into DC and comic books, if that's okay.
Sure.
But yeah, well, if we start at the beginning, I live in Holland, in the Netherlands, and we don't really have access to US-based comic books like the Marvel comics or the DC comics. At least, well, we do, but mostly in the larger cities. So as a kid, when I was growing up, I didn't have access to those kind of things, but I did obviously learn the characters like Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, those kind of guys from the cartoons and from the TV shows, and so I grew up watching the old Batman movies and the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. So yeah, I had a big idea of what the characters were about, and when I got a little bit older. When I got home from school, or it was around dinner time, I'm not really sure, there was this TV show called Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, and that sort of became a thing that my mother and I started watching together. So that really got me interested in Superman, really. That over time that faded a little bit, and I never really got into comic books until a show called Smallville came out, which I at first didn't like because I had this vision of Superman, of how he was supposed to behave and how he was supposed to look, and it totally did not match what I saw in Smallville. So I basically skipped the first 4 or 5 seasons, I think, because I didn't like it. And then my brother kept pushing me to watch it again, and eventually I gave in, and I started watching again, and then for some reason I did like it again. That really got me into the show again and into the character of Superman again. And then he also showed me a couple of comic books that he bought, or graphic novels that he bought, and I borrowed them from him, and I started reading them, and that really got me more and more into DC and into comic books again. And I started collecting my own comic books, and then it was around the same time that the Batman Arkham games were on, and I was just looking for some game with Superman, and there weren't any really good Superman games on the consoles or on the PC, in my opinion. There were a few, but they weren't, great. So I stumbled upon a advertisement for DCL. I think it was on Facebook or something, and I saw the basically the opening screen, you know, where you have Superman up front and center with Wonder Woman and Doomsday and Joker. And I was like, okay, this could be cool. And I started, I downloaded it and I started playing, and that's how I got into DCL.
Oh, cool.
I started out, well, basically free to play, and I'm really horrible with dates and years. So I'm not exactly sure when I started playing the game, but I know that the first Superman, when he came out, I think he had like bleeds on his heat vision. I'm not sure. Maybe you guys can.
He did.
Yes,
Confirm
he
that?
did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I know. I saw it in his kit somewhere, and I think I maybe saw it, you know, from the character when I didn't have him unlocked or something. But I don't remember ever having used that and seeing the bleed. So I think I started just before he was reworked, and then when he was reworked, I sort of unlocked it, I think, and then I started, you know, using him more and more. But at first he wasn't that good, so I was kind of disappointed in Soups when he was first reworked. And I think that was just before they added alliances, maybe? His first rework? Or around that time, I'm not sure.
He's had like 5, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah, exactly. But when the alliances came to the game, I just joined because I'm from Holland. I wanted to, you know, see if there were any other Dutch guys in the game. So I joined a Dutch alliance, which had like maybe 5, 6, maybe 7 members. But you know, I was in there. Well, it felt like a long time, but I don't know exactly how long I was in there. But it kind of died out very quick. So I found another Dutch alliance that they had, also a couple of members strong, and I joined that. And well, I think that was my last small alliance, because somehow I discovered Discord and, you know, the community. Maybe I found it in the community center in the game. I'm not exactly sure, but I was contacted by another Dutch guy because of my name, the Boomstam name. It's a Dutch word, so someone recognized me and asked me if I was Dutch.
Wasn't that OC3?
No. That's actually a different story. It was what he was called Sinestro at the time, and he was part of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, Archer.
Yeah, I think he was a former owl. I'm not exactly sure.
Moment, yes, he was.
Yeah, and he contacted me and he said, you know, we just started a new alliance called Guardians of the Universe, and he asked me if I wanted to join them, and I did, and they really taught me more about how to play the game and how to be a little bit more strategic about planning on which tunes to bring up, and you know, how far you want to bring them up, because up until then I was just getting random tunes to level 80, gear 11, or gear 10 maybe at the time, I'm not sure. And they really explained how you could manage your resources a little bit better, and you know, which tunes, which reworks, and which new tunes you would bring up. And when I was part of the Guardians, I met OC3, and we started talking, and we hit it off, and you know, and he started talking about the owls, and how great they were, and you know, and he got me to the owls.
And then we really taught you how to manage resources, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I have to say it didn't start at the Guardians, but yeah, it kind of evolved into the when I joined the Owls. But yeah, those were the two big alliances that I joined, and well, of course, the Owls is by far the best.
Cool. Well, I obviously I'm a little partial on that feeling as well. So I agree with you totally. But absolutely, thank you for sharing some of your story and a little bit of your secret identity with us. And so next thing, and I think everybody probably you kind of mentioned it, Dutch word, your in-game name, so Boomstam. So
Yeah.
walk us through what's the story behind that?
Well, that's also a bit of a funny story, because I don't know if you know the game Resident Evil.
I do.
Yeah, well, there was the very first Resident Evil, which came out on the PlayStation, well, the regular PlayStation 1, or the gray one. And my cousin had that game, he played it, and I was immediately sold. I really liked that game. And I got it for myself on, I think I got it at the PC at the time. And from there on, I started playing every Resident Evil game there was, and I also started playing with a friend of mine, back and forth. It was a single player game, but we would help each other through the levels and play levels in turn. So he would do a part, and then I would do a part, and then we would guide each other through the game a little bit. And when they made the rework of the first on the GameCube, so they had Resident Evil 1 or Resident Evil, but the remake for the GameCube at the time, we started playing that. And there's this part where you have to go outside of the mansion and you have to go to Lisa's shed or Lisa's cabin. I'm not sure what it's called. But you have to go outside and you have to go there to pick up an item or something to solve a puzzle. And at the time, I wasn't paying attention, or I couldn't see it very well. But I just I was in a rush, so I started running, and I just ran into the arms of a zombie, and he started eating me. And my buddy was watching me, and he was like, "What the F are you doing? Didn't you see that guy?" And I was like, "No, I didn't see that guy. Otherwise, I would have shot him, and I would have killed the zombie and moved on." So I didn't see him. I thought he was like a boomstam, but boomstam is the Dutch word for a tree trunk. And because we were outside, we were in a forest, so I mistakenly saw that zombie as a tree, and I started, literally hugging the tree. And then he ate me, and then I had to do it over again. So every time we played that game, my friend and I, that zombie got the nickname Boomstam. And after that, I started playing my first online game. That was Final Fantasy 11. That was the first online game that I played, and I had to pick a nickname, and I couldn't think of any cool nickname or something from the Final Fantasy genre where I thought that would be like a cool name. And at some point I was just, screw it, I'm just gonna pick Boomstam as a nickname. And that's been my online nickname ever since.
Oh, cool. Well, yeah, thanks for sharing that. Really, it's really kind of cool how we get our nicknames and kind of just follow us around. But you definitely have a cool story to get to tell with yours. So next question. So you do a lot for the game, right? Like you see your name at the top of Siege regularly. This month you're having a really good month as well. You have obviously being in the Owls, big contributor for what allows us to continue to go out there and absolutely wreck shop every raid. But I see you in a lot of Discords, and it seems like, and so I'm self-professed, like I stay in my own little bubble for the most part on Discord. Sometimes I'll venture out here and there, but I see you in a lot of the Discords, and you always have icons and stuff in your name. So tell us about it. It seems like you're giving back to the community and stuff a lot. So tell us a little bit about some of the Discords you're in and all that.
Yeah, I am in a lot of Discords. I'm not too active in all of them, and lately I've been busy with work a lot, so I haven't been as active as I used to be. But yeah, I'm just a member in most, but I am part of the how do we call this? The admin or moderator team for DCL for U and DCL for E. Um, so we have moderators that do the posting of the Siege top 10 and of the Wraith top 10 and the weekly Alliance top 10. They all have their separate duties, and I am there to support the moderators basically best way I can. If they have any questions or if they need any help, or sometimes help out with the grabbing of the screenshots if I can. And for at the start it was also for DCL for U, but now mostly for DCL for E. I try to help think up the challenges Suzu does, or the contests. I try to be like a soundboard for him, or a co-conspirator. How do you want to call it? I just like I want my job is basically to bounce ideas back and forth with other admins and Zuzu, or other admins of the servers, to bring those contests and bring those challenges to the Discord.
Awesome. Yeah. So basically, if I ever piss you off, you could just kick me out of like every Discord, and all of a sudden one day I'm gonna get on there and be like, "What the hell just happened?"
Yeah, technically I can do that, but I don't think I've kicked anyone, maybe once, but yeah, you would have to. I'm a very forgiving person. I don't just kick someone. I usually try to talk things out and resolve things in a orderly fashion.
Oh, cool. That's good to know. So next question I have. So you're always posting, and so in our OWL chat, Boom Sam's always posting like cool collectibles, really some really badass things that he has, and so we have this like running joke, especially during where it seems like the last few raids, like he shows up with massive Lego sets, like thousands of pieces, and he's like, hey guys, here's my raid thing that I'm going to do to kind of take away like the monotonous just tapping over and over right as we go. But we have this running joke that he can only put one piece down for every alliance boss that he hits. But out of all of your collectibles, what if you had to say, hey, here's my favorite collectible, what would it be?
Well, I see the collectibles as something different than the comic books that I own, because I'm very proud of the comic book collection that I have in a whole, but also some individual books that I really like. But collectible wise, I think I just got a recent edition, and it's a statue of Clark Kent, where he's on the rooftop of the Daily Planet, basically, where he rips open his shirt and shows the S emblem, and there are doves flying away as he does that, and he's looking up in the sky, ready to take flight. I think that's my favorite right now for the collectibles. But yeah, the Lego sets are pretty high up there as well. I think it was not last raid, but the raid before, I finished the Lego Batwing, which is currently mounted on my wall. And yeah, for the next raid, I got the Batmobile Tumbler from the Dark Knight movie, which I'm gonna start building.
Cool. Yeah. No, you have some really impressive stuff. Like I'm always jealous every time you're posting pictures about all the items you have, and there's some really cool stuff.
It's not to poke anyone's eye out. It's just me trying to share with some cool stuff that is out there and that's available, and it's not meant in a bad way.
Oh no, I love it. Like it's really cool, and I'm appreciative of you sharing it. So my next question, and I'm sure that all of our listeners can guess this because I think we've heard the name probably 27 times, the character, so far in our 21 minutes of podcast. But favorite character and favorite storyline goes along with that character.
Yes, well, it's Superman. Yeah, but by far Superman, and not just in the game, but also comic book wise, and everything. Movies. He's just by far my favorite character.
And what's your favorite storyline?
My favorite storyline right now. Well, it's hard to pick a single one, but there is. And I can't praise this book enough or recommend this book enough. It's called Superman Up in the Sky, and it's one book, and it's 6 issues, and each issue feels like a separate story, but it isn't. There's this red line of a larger story that runs through it. But it contains everything. It answers questions like who would win in a race, the Flash or Superman? Who would win in a fight, Batman or Superman? It's a moral dilemma for Superman. It makes you laugh. It almost made me cry. And I think that's a big part of what I think is a good book or a comic book, if it does something to you emotionally, and it could be anything. It could make you laugh, it could make you smile, it could make you angry, it could make you cry. But if a story or if a book can do that to you, then for me it's a great story. It's a great book.
Oh yeah, cool. Well, yeah, thanks for sharing that. So any questions from, I know you guys, obviously it's been a lot of Boom Stam and Burger going, but for those of you guys who listen closely, M4 and Hate are both whispering WOWL the entire time while we're doing this, subliminally, just getting it out there. But M4, Hate, any questions you guys have for Boom before we move on to the rapid fire?
I do have one. So Boom, how do you feel about the latest, dare I say greatest, Superman rework? Because I know a certain Dutch hated it. So I want to hear it from you, how you feel about the latest rework.
I have mixed feelings about it. And allow me to get into it, if you will. I had an RB5 Superman before the latest rework, and he was, I think, at least RB3 before that rework. So I've been working on him for a while, and I've been trying to get the shards for a while, mostly because I just like the character. Even though I couldn't really use the toon at the time, or really use him effectively, I still wanted him to be my top toon. I wanted him to be RB5 whenever I could do it, but it just took me a while. The Superman just before the latest rework was more tanky. He was more annoying. When I got into RB5, I got a lot of comments about it on the Discord when I used him, and I think probably Biff from AED was probably complaining a lot to me about it when I used him or when he faced mine, because it took him 10 to 15 minutes to do a match. And I actually think I preferred his old gear set, not his skill set, but his gear set, which would make him more of a tank. And the reason why I say this is, it better fitted my playstyle. That's one, but also I think it better fitted the character. And don't get me wrong, I like the current suits. I like that he can, punch Darkseid to the moon and back, or any other toon. He just sometimes goes bananas and he punches down 2 or 3 toons in like four shots, which can be a good thing. But with all the specters running around, it could kill him, because specter would go off, the enemy specter would go off, and it would wreck your toons. But for the character-wise, I think the old kit was a little bit better, because, well, basically Superman, he's a protector. He's not a brawler, he's not a fighter. He had to be taught how to fight by Wonder Woman at some point, and he had to be taught how to fight by other people like Batman, and he's not an aggressive man. He's more of a save kitten from tree and protect other kind of guy, which not always comes out in the comic books, but there are some great stories where that really shines through. And for me, those are the better stories, and I think that better fitted the character in the game.
Okay.
So yeah, I think I did prefer the old kit, but I gotten a little bit more used and a little bit more comfortable with the current Superman, if you will.
Okay. So I did hear you say he was more annoying before and fits your playstyle. So I guess your playstyle is be annoying.
Yeah, no, I try. Well, when we had the reign of Black Flash, basically, I just try to avoid using Black Flash, because I don't like it when I use tools which make the matches too easy. And again, it's not like I don't use him. I did use Black Flash at the time, and right now, it's the reign of Spectre, and I try not to use Spectre, and that doesn't mean I don't use Spectre, because I do use it for red alerts, for rage, for what's it called, nightmare. But I try not to use him in any PvP setting. So I try not to use him in Siege, and I try not to use him in Wraith or Showdowns or whatever, because I think it's just sort of not exactly a cheat code, but it just makes some things too easy. And I try to get a challenge out of it by not using those kind of characters. Sometimes I, pressed for time in real life or something, so then I do have to use him, because I just have to burn through my matches fairly quickly. So again, it's not like I won't use him at all, but I try not to use him if I can. And my playstyle is, I think, mostly defensive. I try to build up my defenses first before I think about going on the offense. I sometimes only have 1 or 2 offensive toons, basically. And yeah, that's how I try to play.
Cool. I love the new Superman. I had him RB4 before. I think I had him RB4 even before his last rework. But I absolutely love him now, going around punching. And my kind of view on it, I get it. Like, he's a protector. But like, there are times where he ratchets it up, and it's usually like when his team's getting attacked, and that's exactly what he does. Somebody hits somebody on his team, he's buffing, he's going after him. And so yeah, so that's kind of how but my favorite Superman time is, I really enjoyed New 52. And so I think a lot of times in my mind, like, that's kind of what I see.
I get where you're coming from in that sense, because in New 52 he's a lot more brash, he's a lot more rough around the edges, if you will. Especially in his younger years, when he had the jeans and t-shirt thing going on. But yeah, I've read the New 52. I actually started reading comic books just before the New 52, but I didn't know what I was doing. So I was reading Brightest Day before I read Blackest Night, for instance, and later the New 52 came, and then from that point I started reading comic books weekly, and I haven't stopped yet. So I still read every DC comic I get, which comes out every week. I still do that, and I do that since the New 52. So yeah, I get what you're saying there.
Yeah. Cool.
Regarding Superman, the only thing that I miss in his current kit, I think I would have liked it if they kept his old fourth passive, where he would heal himself a little bit more faster. I don't think it would have been too much, but it would have helped him. And the latest Green Lantern, Abin Sur, he sort of fills that gap for him, sort of. Because he does heal him, but he doesn't overheal him. So yeah, I've been playing around when Abin came out, to see if I could augment my team, my Superman team with Abin. But now that Alan Scott is out, I think that's a better fit for my team. But that's just me.
Cool. Oh well, yeah. Thanks for the insight. So now we're going to kind of switch to our rapid fire questions. Only have like 74 of them this week. Actually, it's only 5. So are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So first one, if you had any superpower, what would it be? One superpower.
Right.
Okay. Favorite hobby outside of DCL?
Probably hanging with my friends.
Okay, that's a good one. The movie you quote the most?
Pulp Fiction, probably.
And what's that quote?
Wow. Well, it's several actually, but I think it's probably the part where Samuel L. Jackson goes on about, they speak English in what? What ain't no country I ever heard of? That quote.
Okay. And then last question I have, do you believe in soulmates?
Well, I haven't found mine yet, but yes.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like me or M4 were your soulmate.
Well,
OC3 said Boomstan was his soulmate.
Oh, that's true. He did. So we need to edit this part out so that way OC3 doesn't hear that.
He's going to be upset when he hears this.
Oops.
Well, cool. Well, thanks a lot for the interview. I mean, really, really appreciate getting to know you a little bit more, and hopefully all of our listeners do as well. I do have a few topics that I kind of want to talk about. First one is, so we had the raid announcement today. What are your guys' thoughts on the tunes? How are you guys feeling about it?
I'm not happy it's over Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, that is rough.
Actually, I would say I don't really mind so much. My family members are not happy that it's over Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, I don't have that problem, luckily. I'm just good to go all weekend. So I'm looking forward to it, actually.
Yeah, I need to. What I need to try to do is record my wife's reaction, because all I have to do at this point is just say, "Guess what this weekend is," and we'd have to like beep out like probably 4 or 5 seconds worth of audio after that.
Oh, please do it. That would make for great content.
So what do you guys think about the tunes?
Oh, you mean Kyle and Lois? Yes, they're great.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I
it looks like
actually
it's
didn't see who the tunes were.
okay.
Yeah.
So what we have.
Actually, it's Ares, Mongol, Bizarro, Ursa, Lex, Lex AW, Mira, Connor, Captain Adam, and Donna Troy.
Okay, so we're going to use Connor and the usual tunes.
Yeah, maybe Ursa.
I don't think so. Maybe, but I don't think so.
Yeah, if it's like a weaker one, I could see her doing that because her 3 just goes, just takes somebody out really quickly. But if it's later in raid, then yeah, I don't see her being very, very valuable. But yeah, no red, no physical tune in the ×5. So I guess
do
really
have
you
a
just have
timestamp,
Lois.
though.
What was that in for?
Oh yeah, you just mentioned the times 10 character, Lois.
Yeah.
And
Lois.
also, we have quite a few Rebirth Connors, quite a few RB5s actually in our alliance. So Connor might serve as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. I'm very happy with him so far.
So basically, M4, you're telling all the other alliances out there they shouldn't really bother this month.
Really, but I highly encourage everyone to follow the lead of certain alliances to boycott the raid packs. That would be a great idea.
And so I just found out about this yesterday, obviously on our podcast. Boomstam, what do you're active in the Discords and stuff. What are your thoughts on all that?
He was actually part of that discussion for a bit. And it was in Joker's Discord server, and I don't know how to pronounce his name, but the D1G1 something. He started it, I think. And I got a lot of crap over me because I said I wouldn't join them in their little boycott thingy. Because I was a little bit. I started the argument because I was a little bit sick of hearing about it. We already had like a week of complaining about the raid that went wrong, and while I get it, I understand people's frustration, but after a week or maybe a week and a half, maybe longer, I think it should be done. But after 2 weeks, or they were still arguing about it, they were still bringing it up, and I was like, you're complaining to the wrong people. We are all in a Discord server. None of us work at WB. Maybe some of us have some form of influence at WB, but they already brought it up. So what's the point of hashing it out again if there's nothing you can do about it? I mean, I get it when people are upset and they want to vent that, but after a week or 2 weeks, it should be done. So I was, I was just pretty done with the discussion of it all, and that's why I joined in, and that's why I said I wasn't gonna do it, because I wasn't, because I think you just you either play the game and you accept the bugs that we have, or you just quit the game and go do something else.
Yeah. So is that when you went ultimate power and started booting all these people from all the Discords you're in?
No, because I'm not a administrator or moderator at Jokers yet. Wink, wink. So no, I wasn't. I didn't boot anyone. But yeah, also if even if I was a moderator or something over there, I wouldn't boot them over that. It's good to have a healthy discussion about things, but it kind of escalated is maybe the wrong word, but it kind of took a wrong turn for me. Especially because I said some things, and then it was the things that I said were kind of taken as if it was the communication from all of the owls, which it wasn't, because it was just my opinion. It wasn't a statement from the owls, which I obviously would never make. We have a leader for that. So yeah, it kind of went sideways for me there, and that's when I left the conversation and was like, you guys can figure it out without me.
That does bring up a good point. We need like a press secretary. I feel like somebody that could send a memo out for all the owls. But yeah, no, I think I'm in a similar camp as yours. Like, honestly, just missing a day and a half of raid, I think was great for me. And being able to have that, I mean, it's so draining. The boss hits, like, I know everybody's like, hey man, you guys kick ass at it. I don't really see any owls that are like, hell yes, we're gonna raid. I mean, outside of the camaraderie and the interaction and stuff we have.
I like raiding personally because I like raiding because it's the only thing aside from the alliance points that we do as an alliance. And we help each other with siege, and that's great. And a big shout out to my friend OC3, who helps me a lot with sending me teams to spar against in Wraith, so I can do my siege matches a little bit better. From here, thank you for that. But
are you just trying to make up for the soulmate thing? I think you're just trying to make up for the soulmate comment right at this point.
We will do a shout out to another, but that's a whole different story, and I'll squeeze that one in later. I don't like the tapping and the brain dead action of it, but the camaraderie, the communications we have on the Discord, and the jokes we make, and all the owls are talking to each other and having fun. That part of me is the great thing about Raid. We really come together as an alliance to do to kick ass, and I really think that we need a different kind of game mode in the game, which serves as which serves on an alliance-based platform, something we do as an alliance. I actually put an idea in the world a long time ago. I put it on the community center thingy in the game, where I had an idea about how we could have a red alert type of game mode, but then for alliances. And I think we need more alliance content in the game.
The only bad thing about that is I always end up with like M4s or Vincent's or Hates teams in my red alerts.
Yeah. No, but my idea was you have a ladder like in Red Alert, but now I can just start at tier 5 or tier 6 or tier 10, whatever team I think is easiest, and then I can do that, and then I can choose another. But for the alliance part, I was thinking you have like 3 or 4 big bosses, like raid bosses, who are very tough, and or they get tougher as you climb the ladder, and you have to start at the bottom, so you have a fixed team, and everybody gets a different team, so you really have to figure teams out for each other in your alliance to build up your points and kill those bosses and finish that part of the game. And it doesn't have to take a whole a week or something. It could just be in a day or whatever. It doesn't have to take your whole weekend. So that was, in a nutshell, my idea, what I had for extra Alliance content. But that was a long, long time ago.
Well, all of our listeners heard it here, so maybe they can rise up and help push this thing across the end zone.
Yeah.
So last topic that I have. So this week it's Captain Atom week, right? What are your thoughts on Captain Atom?
Well, I think all the new tunes, and not all the new tunes, because I haven't used Mongol yet, but the new tune that I did try, Ursa, and the reworked Connor and Captain Atom, I think they are great as reworks. I think they are improved a lot. I think Captain Atom went from 0 to hero, but I choose my tunes, at least the tunes that I am going to RB5, I choose them on the basis of, will they serve my super family team? Because I have a bit of a theme going on where I reworked 5 the Superman or super family tunes, like Supergirl, Superman, Steel, those kind of characters. And if they don't really fit in those kind of teams, I don't really see the desire for me to RB5 them. So we will probably stay at L5 because he doesn't really fit my playstyle. But he's improved greatly. I think he's easy to underestimate, especially with his retaliation and his ability to hit under awareness and to put on diseases and stuff. And I think he does that under immunities. That wasn't really well, it was my fault. I was fighting Yoonburger in Siege, and I forgot that Ursa had that bug thing on her too, and I used her too on the team, and then your Captain Atom, your RB4 Captain Atom, retaliated and took out 2 of my tunes. And those were, I think, green and blue tunes, so, not even red ones. So yeah, he's greatly improved.
Oh yeah, no, I'm a big fan. I think, as kid, I'm not huge on like bleeds and disease and all that. Like I probably lean more towards like hate, where I'd rather like stun, and that kind of stuff. But or purge. But yeah, I really like him. Like the turn meter control he offers. Hitting underneath awareness. Hitting again, if somebody attacks when they have disease, or if they hit him, like how he can use this too. Like I think he's a really good tune, especially at higher rebirth. He can wreck shop on a team for sure.
You really don't want to underestimate him. You really have to account for him if you see him. I basically see him all the Siege matches, and you really have to plan ahead, and you have to make sure you don't do an AoE, because if you hit him, he could retaliate. So you really have to plan around him a little bit, and make sure you don't accidentally hit him unless you stun him. So yeah, he's a dangerous tune.
If he gets a 6-day, I'm gonna get the shards. I don't know if I'll rebirth him or not, but he's one of those characters. He's just really well balanced. He's just fun.
I'm on the fence a little bit. I like the character, comic book wise. I like his kit right now, even though he doesn't really fit my playstyle. But I also have a fairly large list of tunes that I still can RB5, and still have to RB5 and want to RB5. So it would really be, of Batman CC and Captain Cold, they're all the way at the back of the bus for RB5s, and he would probably join them. And I'm not sure if I'm willing to invest in that. But on the other hand, the 6-day is basically the cheapest way to get it to an RB5. So yeah, it would be a big well, how do you say this? A big decision to whether or not to farm him to RB5, yes or no. So I'm not really I haven't really convinced myself to do it. Let's just keep it at that.
Okay. Well, we've gone about 50 minutes, so we really, really, absolutely appreciate the time. I know, you made a lobby on a new game mode we talked about. We got to, learn a little bit about your past and how you got to this moment and, in DCL. You also got to lobby a little bit. And so, Joker, if you're listening, you have somebody that, wants to be a mod on your Discord. But really, really appreciate the insight. And so with that, I don't have anything else. Hate, what about you?
I think you said it all and then some. We appreciate you coming on, Boom Sam. I can't believe we haven't had you on before, but we got lazy with the guests for a long time. So
I would really, if you want to have me back on, I'm all for it. I'm looking forward to Club.
Now you're asking for a little much, but I'm just teasing.
No, we love
sure
you.
What it entails, but it sounds great.
And the most important takeaway, I can't believe I forgot this. Most important absolute takeaway is OC3 loves you, but he has no room in your heart. So I forgot to bring that up.
Would you say that?
All right, cool. All right, well, thanks, guys.
All right, thanks for coming.
I'll talk to you guys later.
Could I do one more shout out?
Sure.
I really want to thank my friend Koen Lau, also from the Owls. He always supported me. He pushed me into going at it in Siege, and I've been doing it ever since. And he's the reason I've been in the top 20, top 10 of Siege ever since. So yeah, I just wanted to thank my friend for that, for his encouragement and his friendship.
We need to have Kung Lao on here. He's been my Siege partner for a long time. Usually at the beginning of Siege, we find each other, then one of us or both of us make mistakes and screw up, and then we're like, forget it, I'm not going to get to where I want to get, and then we let our Siege buddy die. But he always seems to find me in Wraith right at the beginning of Siege, so.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he had a spiral with me as well, but I lost him, or he lost me, I don't know. But I do the same with OC3, and we always try to find each other again and help each other out. So, yeah.
Cool.
It's good that we can help each other like that.
Well, obviously you're kicking butt right now. You're top 10 in Siege. You're multiple times now. So just make sure you join the dojo and the WROL Discord on there and share some of your best practices and some of your successes.
Yeah, will do. Thank you.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Duh. I mean, he is using Impulse. That is like an auto win. You know what else is an auto win? Becoming a Patreon. Become a Patreon today and get special perks like Patreon-only episodes, early reviews, and content based on your requests. Just go to patreon.com/WROL broadcast.